Good evening, everybody. How are you all?
Great!
That's great, that's great. My name is Sushil, and I'm going to be your host for tonight's session. And we welcome you all to Entrepreneurship Workshop. And before we kickstart today's session, I would like to walk you through some of the ground rules. Everybody has this smartphone, smart device, gadget. Can I request everybody to put it on silent or on a vibrate mode so that it doesn't disturb the flow of presentation. And if you are expecting any emergency call or urgent call, feel free to take a seat at the back, please. And water stations are at the back, far back, and restrooms are on my right, your left. Try avoid using it during the presentation unless it's urgent. And it's my honor and privilege to invite today's guest speaker on the stage. They are Nick and Diana Kikos. And let me just give you a brief introduction and background of this entrepreneur couple. So Nick and Diana are full-time entrepreneurs. And they have tried and tested different jobs and a dozen of jobs and businesses before. But through this business opportunity, they've been able to replace it and convert it into, develop it into an cash flow asset. And they enjoy their life and time together. And it's nowadays they need not to sacrifice their time to generate an income since 2004, and which is more than which means it is more than 14 years they haven't been to a work, which is cool, right? All right. And nowadays they inspire people and help people to have a similar success. And they're based in Melbourne, basically. And without any further ado, help me welcome Nick and Diana on Kikos.
I don't even know you. Why'd you put your foot out? It's a joke. Yeah. We are Nick and Diana Kikos. Some of you think, oh, tall, dark, slender, rich. He must be Greek. Whereas in fact, I'm actually Indian. My real name is Nicholas Krishna Pratak Kikos. This is my wife Diana. She is Greek, 100% to the bone.
No, disclaimer there, I'm not Greek. Very Greek, but I'm actually Maltese.
Now you're talking the way you talk, and I'm going to give you a chance. Been married now for a very long time.
14 years.
Okay, great. 14 years. I'm glad that you remember. I always test her. And
Those who know me know that's not true.
like I said, we've been married 14 years, and tonight I got a chance to talk, and again I get interrupted. So what we are going to go through a couple of ideas with what we're doing business-wise, and I believe you. Okay, go.
So obviously
you would be able to speak without the microphone. They'd hear you across the street. Just pretend you're talking to me the way you do at home.
I said no jokes about me, didn't I, this morning?
Sorry.
I didn't say that to you.
How much should I pay you?
It's a lot, if you like.
Yeah.
So basically we are Nick and Diana, as you already have discovered that. So you've obviously qualified to be in the room today, so you've gone through that process. Nick and I, we also had to qualify once upon a time as well to go through this process. He's very distracting. So we've been developing this for almost 19 years. Yes, you did hear right, 19 years. And I can tell you now, it's very stress-free. So it's a very stress-free business to get involved in because you don't have the stress of your normal job or your normal, if you're employing staff, etc., etc. So hopefully, amongst all the joking around, there is going to be a message. So listen carefully because it is going to be very entertaining for all of you tonight. And again, once upon a time, we also sat in the front row like this many years ago. And I am so glad that we stuck with it, because today our life is very, very, very different. So back to Nick.
So when we did get married, I said, hey, just one thing before we get married, just understand, I make all the decisions in the household. And after a couple of weeks, I could sort of see out of this eye it was black. All right. Now, where are you from? India. Then you came into my business for free. Where are you from? Yeah, you came to my business for free as well. Wow, that's amazing. Any other country? We've got India, we've got New Zealand, where else?
Australia.
Yeah, I can tell. Anything else? Afghanistan? Anywhere else? Mexico. Me and you in Mexico. Which part of Mexico? Oh, Mexico City, wow. Have you been to Acapulco? It's good? Yeah, nice. I hear that you can live in Acapulco for $1,800 a month with a cook, a cleaner, a driver, and your house paid for. Yeah, good, good. Any other country? Africa. Anyone else from Africa? Okay. Which country in Africa? Ethiopia. It's a joke, I don't want to waste time. Yeah, so hey, Wick and I, we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship and with what we're doing business-wise, and from a team evaluation point of view. You've obviously come into the room tonight. You may or may not have, hopefully you have, gone through some of Robert Kiyosaki's material, and they have a fair understanding of what we're going to be discussing tonight. Before we get started, I'm certainly not a public speaker. I don't use big words of eloquence. I failed Form 5. In fact, the school principal asked my dad to come to the high school and said to my dad, hey, you know, Mr. Kikos, there's just not enough room in this school for myself and for your son. And being the principal, I've decided to stay. My dad took me by the ear, took me back home, gave me a couple of kicks, and then said, hey, you've got to do something. So I became an entrepreneur ever since back then, many years ago. I'm now just over 50 years of age, and back then I would look at people that were 50 and think, man, they're old. Some of you are thinking that. So I really look at it. Anyhow, now that I am that, I just realise how young that really is. Till 120, oh man, another 70 years to go. But anyhow, where was I? Oh, that's right. So I left school, became an entrepreneur, and life's been fantastic. Being an entrepreneur, however, there is education, there's a mind shift that has to take place within your brain of how money is generated, right? What I'm going to go through this evening, I've done this for the last 18 years. So I know exactly what it is that I'm talking about, right? But what's important in communication isn't what's said, it's what's heard. Right? So I'm going to be talking fast. You've got to train your ears to listen fast and hear what I'm saying. Right? With communication, it reminds me of there's this guy that's out from Texas, and he's talking to a guy up in Queensland in the farm areas, and they're talking about their farms, and the Texan says, man, in the US everything is really, really big. Like my farm is huge. How big's your farm? And the Aussie guy goes, well, my farm, see that boundary over there? Well, see those trees? That's one boundary. Right at the back, those power lines, that's another boundary. And where that river cuts across, that's the other boundary. And the Texan goes, interesting. And the guy goes, well, my farm, you'd have to drive 2 days and 2 nights on one boundary. You'd have to drive 3 days and 3 nights on the other boundary. And then you'd have to drive a week on the other boundary. And the Aussie guy goes, interesting. I had a car like that once. So communication is really important. It's not what's actually what's said, it's what's actually heard. The other thing is that I'm not interested in anybody's opinions with what I'm going to go through tonight. I'm not interested in any of your opinions. What I do, I know works, and I could prove that 100% right here, right now, by showing you my bank balances on the internet. If you're willing to show yours. So I can do that. I'm not after opinions. We're here to see if you're going to get through to the next step. And again, it's all about what you understand from a business perspective and how your mind thinks. That's the most important. Now, why is it that when we start talking about money and making a lot of it, why is it that the people that don't have any all of a sudden become experts? How does that work? So you start talking to someone, you go tomorrow to someone that, if you follow them to the ATM machine after they've done a withdrawal and just take the receipt and have a look, it's not more than $12. But when you start talking to them about making a lot of money, especially from internet-based business models or through income-producing assets that doesn't require your time, even though their bank balance is so small and you're talking about an opportunity that you're pursuing, they all of a sudden know more about the opportunity you're pursuing than what you do. How does that work? Isn't it amazing? But if you tell them there's 1 billion stars in the sky, they'll say that's true. You tell them, hey, don't touch the wall because the paint's wet, they actually have to go and touch it. Amazing, isn't it? Anyhow, let's get started. Let's talk about this guy here and what he discusses. He discusses in a particular, well, he discusses in the book how people actually generate income. Who's read the book? Put your hand up. Yeah. So with discussing of the income, what do you recall? How is income generated?
Active and passive.
Active and passive. One side of the quadrant, the income is active, and the other side of the quadrant, the income is passive. Now, the way the income is actually generated falls into these categories. Here we have employee, here we have self-employed, here we have business with a system, and here we have investing. We're not going to talk about investing tonight. Some of you think you're investors, and I don't say anything to step on your toes and upset you. I understand that you think you're an investor, but we're talking about investors that have zero debt. Not someone that has 20 houses and 20 mortgages, that they're going to die and leave the debt to their kids. I'm talking about people that have zero debt, right? So we're not going to go any further in that because you're probably out of that category. Is that fair?
Yep.
That's if you don't know. This is yes, this is no, this is I don't know. Over here we have employee and self-employed. Over here, the income is passive, it's ongoing. Right? What do you think about people that actually generate income from the internet and they don't have to go work a job like everybody else? What do you think about them? Smart. Yeah. As long as I don't hear the word lucky. Because they're not lucky. They're entrepreneurs and they have a different mindset than what you have if you're saying they're lucky. Right? And luck actually stands for, it's an acronym or acronym. I don't know. Is it strategy or strategy? It doesn't matter because you can make money not knowing how to spell. Anyway. Luck. Luck is a what? Acronym. Labour under correct knowledge. It's that simple. So over here, the employee and the self-employed, why is it? Who works in the auto industry? Anyone work in the auto industry? Yeah, what do you do?
Supplying tires.
Supplying tyres. Okay, why is it that in the auto industry, before driving cars, how did people get around? Sorry, you rode your husband. What? It's horse and cart, right? People got around with horse and cart. Then there came the car, and then of course now we have Tesla, electric, right? Anyone in pharmaceutical industry? Where's Deepak? Pharmaceutical industry, right? Pharmaceuticals have evolved over time. Why is it that finances and the education of finances from generation to generation doesn't change? And everybody stays in this category here where they keep having to go work for money. It's always active. Why doesn't that change? Because people aren't educated. There's two different formulas. On this side of the quadrant, there's one formula, and on this side of the quadrant, there's a different formula. Who wants to know the formulas?
Yes.
Right, let me tell you. Over here we have E plus J plus W equals R. Over here we have B plus W equals, they're the two formulas. It's not gravity, because you already know the formula to gravity, right? But hey, there is a formula for gravity and it works 100% of the time. Guess what? These two formulas also work 100% of the time. So if you're on this side, generating income on this side, you're actually using that formula. I'll explain it to you so that you don't feel that you lack knowledge. Right? You'll be enlightened. Before we do that, who in the room, just so you understand, you're in the room and everyone else isn't in the crowd. They're in the room because you're in the room. They're in the room for the same reasons. They've gone through the qualification process, looking to change some things. Who in the room right now is an employee and works for a boss? Put your hand up, hold your hand up, hold your hand up, hold your hand up. What do you do, sir?
I install solar panels.
You install solar panels. What do you do, sir? Sales manager. What do you do? Project manager. Okay. Tomorrow morning, we have to be at the airport at 7 a.m. We're going to be traveling the world for the next 6 to 12 months. We haven't figured out how long we're going to be gone, but we're going to be gone for the next 6 to 12 months. You're not allowed to call anybody. You're not allowed to ring anyone. We're going from the airport, the three, my wife's coming as well, right? I don't travel without her. So the four of us are going to be at the airport 7 a.m. We're traveling around the world next 6 to 12 months. While we're traveling, how much income will you generate?
0.
Yeah, but doing that, that's 3. You got to do it like this. How much money will you generate? 3. 0. Okay. How much money will you generate? 0, right? Because the income is active. Who in the room is self-employed? They have an entrepreneurial mindset. You put your hand up or you touching a camera? I'm touching a camera. What do you do, sir? Contractor? Yeah. With Australian Post, yeah. Who else is self-employed? Any other entrepreneurs? Yeah, what do you do, sir?
Yeah, IT consulting.
IT consulting. Any other entrepreneurs self-employed? Self-employed. Anyone else? You can't put your hand up again. You did employee before. Anyone else self-employed? Yeah, what do you do, sir? Sorry?
IT contract.
IT. You're both Indian doing IT, aren't you? You must have saw the Nike commercial, just do it. It wasn't IT, do it. Okay, self-employed. Tomorrow morning you're going to join us at the airport. You're coming with the other guys and my wife. We're going to be traveling for the next 6 to 12 months. You're not allowed to ring anyone. You're not allowed to tell anyone where we're going. While we're traveling, how much money will you generate? 0. Good answer, yeah?
I'll be losing money.
You'll be losing money, yeah?
Losing money.
Losing money as well, because the income is active. That's the only reason. And it's because of this formula here that's been taught from generation to generation. We've taught our children this formula. And I'm glad that they understand it. Our youngest 2 children, how old are they? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. They're just entering their teenage years. They have more money saved than most adults that we know from work they've done, etc., running their own projects. So, let's start here. E stands for, and this is what my mum used to say too, this stands for education. My mum used to say, Niko, bine studio mata gramata. She's Greek. She doesn't speak English. She said, go to school, get a good education. Who else got taught that? Go to school and get a good education. Put your hand up if you got taught that. Yeah? Nothing wrong with that. It's just that our parents didn't know any different. Tonight, your history is very different to your future. Tonight is the sword that breaks that timeline. Right? Get a good education. Man, I used to love school. It was fantastic. As soon as I found out what a girl was, I became interested in it. I forgot about education. I had a fantastic, my favourite teacher was from, he's my geography teacher, he's from Canada. He taught me that there was 18 continents. I learned a lot. Education, get a good education. Find yourself a good job. My mum used to say, a good job. No, that's how you say it in Greek, right? I rang her the other day, I said, hey, what are you guys doing? She said, we're doing the gardening. I said, why don't you hire a couple of immigrants to do the gardening? She said, you crazy fool, we are immigrants. Get a job, right? Is that what we got taught? Get yourself a good job. Man, I remember being in the US with my wife, Diana. And we're at this multi-billionaire's home. He owns a couple of his own jets. He owns the house that we're at. He invited 1,000 people to a barbecue. We weren't cramped at this barbecue. This property was like huge. He had, I think he had, how many boats did he have going around the lake, Dana? About 8? People on boats, people on jet skis, people in there talking. We were just next to him learning, just filling our mind about this. And he said to me, you know what JOB stands for? I said, what, man? What? What does it stand for? He says, when people are here, they're just on broke. Oh, wow. He said, yeah, there's always more month after the money runs out. Oh, wow. He said, yeah, they're actually the jackass of the boss. Ooh, that's a bit tough. I said, yeah. And then they want to jump off a bridge. Oh, that's crazy. Right? W, work. Need to be prepared to work. Man, I'm not lazy. Man, I'm over 50, I'm still not lazy. Man, my butt's burning, man, I've got to do something. I've always got to do something. Work, I'm not scared of work. Who in the room is afraid of work? Who's afraid of doing some work? Put your hand up. You're allowed to leave whenever you want. Everybody else, put your hands together and bow your heads. We're not looking, you want to leave. Ah! No, work. You got to work. My mum said, school, job, be prepared to work. And then you can retire. When's retirement nowadays? What age? 63, 65, what age? 65? 67. 67 going once. Anyone going twice? 67 over here. 67. 67. What? 132. Retire. When do you retire? I heard the latest figures, the latest stats. You retire when you're DEAD, dead. Because if you're working and the income is active, hello, McFly, is anybody home? If the income is active and you stop working, what happens to the income? We've already spoken about this, about travelling for the next 6 to 12 months. Dana, where are you? Can I take my jacket off? Just the jacket. Okay. No further than that, because Dana gets very excited. Seeing this Greek godly body. Alright, so retirement. I don't know what it is, right? Let's just say it's, let's be conservative and say it's 65, right? So all the dreams that you had, all the aspirations that you had while you're going through school, now at 65, you're going to say, sweetheart, let's go ski the Swiss Alps. That's what happens to people. They get to here, and guess what? Life's over. Anyone that doesn't have a desire to achieve greatness from here, by the time they get to here, guess what? They're dead. They're dead mentally, and the body is just simply carrying them around the earth. That's what happens, right? So that's the formula on this side. The formula on this side is very different. Alright. W. There's still work involved. Tonight's not a lottery or a Reader's Digest sweepstakes. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You're going through a qualification process. Depending on what you understand from tonight, we'll know whether we have the next step or not. So work will be required. Between 5, 10, 15 hours a week. Can you do that?
Yes.
If you can't do that, put your hands together, everyone bow. No, we won't see you walk out. Okay, so there is work involved. We're expanding the business system. Got to think like an entrepreneur. That's why you'll be going through a core run of education. So that way you can get the mindset right before you make the fit and get a position on the team. FS, the end result, is financial freedom, never have to think about money again for the rest of your life? Has that thought ever crossed your mind where, what if I could make money somehow? I don't have to go work for it, and the money keeps coming in, and I never have to think about money ever again. Have you ever thought anything like that?
Sure have.
Yeah? Is there anyone in the room that's never thought that? Everyone else? Hold your hands about. So everyone's thought the same thing, right? Okay. This formula is driven by this here, and this is a dream or a goal. Any entrepreneur that's been successful on this planet has had a dream or a goal that they're aspired to and they've pursued relentlessly until they've made it come true. The fuel, the petrol in your tank as of tonight will be this. What is it for you? I don't know. Let's discuss it for a sec, but before we do, let's talk about this. Who knows what this is? What? McDonald's. All right, so it's not even. Now does more people know? The McDonald's business model is a fantastic business model. It's a franchising model. It provides and offers a win-win relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee. What we're talking about this evening is a private franchising system that also provides a win-win. I'll give you an example. The guy that set up McDonald's franchising, there's 2 McDonald's stores that open up around the world every 24 hours. Isn't that phenomenal? There's over 41,000 of them around the world right now. You go to India, you go to England, you go to Australia, New Zealand, Greece. I don't go to Greece, they're bankrupt. But you go to other countries as well. And what colour are the golden arches?
Yellow.
Golden, I just told you. Golden arches. But he created a business model that was super duper. Let me explain the business model to you. Over here, we have a corporation. It's what we do as well. I'm going to go through the details in a sec. So the business model looks like this. Nick, if you help these people generate $100 per hour, then we're going to pay you, not many small notes here, we're going to pay you $20 an hour. What was your name, sir? Jot. The corporation says, Nick, if you help Jot make $100 an hour, this is my money, I'm not giving it to you. This is just an example. You understand what I'm talking about, right? Oh, I don't know, man. It's an example. It's my wife's money, she scratches. Yeah, I'm going to get it back. So, if I help you make $100 an hour, I'm going to get paid $20 an hour from the corporation, not from your 100. You keep your 100. Who got the better deal? Who got the better deal? John got the better deal. What's your name, sir? John. The corporation says, are you accountant?
No, I'm not thinking that.
Oh, I'm only lending it to you for this example. My wife's up the back, she scratches. I'm going to help John generate $100 per hour. I get paid $20 per hour. Who got the better deal? John got the better deal. It's $80 more, isn't it? Right? What's your name, sir? Arif. The corporation says that if you help Arif make $100 per hour, I'm going to get paid $20 per hour. Who got the better deal? Arif, right? You look like you spend. Chris, is it? The corporation says, Nick, if you help Chris make $100 per hour, we're going to pay you $20 per hour. Who got the better deal? Chris. If I go around now and help 100 people, they all make $100 each. 100 times 20 is? 2 what? 2,000. Okay. I make 2,000, they each make $100 each. Who got the better deal? They always got the better deal on our one-on-one relationship. They shouldn't care what I do with the next door neighbour. They shouldn't care what I do with the person in the other country. It's always our one-on-one relationship. This is what McDonald's franchising is all about. Whoever gets into business with McDonald's always makes more money than the corporation. The corporation simply keeps 4%, right? Did I give you 100? I get it, I know, because you look like you spent 2. Am I 100 short? That's the business model we're talking about tonight, right? Now, getting back to this here, this is the fuel in the petrol tank. Let me go through some details. We all live in this high-tech world right now, don't we? And everyone understands what a cloud is. Let's just call this a dream cloud. A dream cloud. Or a wine cloud. Because the what and the how isn't as important as why. Did you know that the people that know, the smart people, the really smart people that know how something is done, they work for someone that knows why they're doing it? Did you know the people that know what needs to get done because they're really, really smart, they actually work for someone that knows why they're doing it? The what and the how people always work for the person that knows why. Because it's the dreamer that creates. It's the A-class student. Any students in the room? I appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot. Do you appreciate what you're doing? Say yes, especially if parents are funding your tuition. Because there's debt there, right? Now, what was I saying? What was I saying? Why? It's the entrepreneur that creates. The A grade student is managed by the B grade student, who both work for the C grade student. Look at BRW, top 200 richest. Only 6% finish university. It's the way it is. Why? Because of this formula here. Let's look at this dream cloud. Let's say for example, as of, if a genie appeared today, a genie came out of this jug. Does everyone know what a genie is? I spoke to someone from Africa, in fact, the other day, and they didn't know what a genie was, so I had to explain. If a genie appeared, they're real. My friend in the US actually saw a genie. His name's Greg Francis. He went for a walk along the Michigan Lake, along the shoreline, and he found a lantern, he rubbed it, and a genie appeared. And the genie said to him, "You know the usual story. You've rubbed the lamp, you've got 3 wishes. And I know you hate your boss. So whatever you wish for, your boss is actually going to get double." He goes, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay. I wish for $1 million. Woof, in his bank account, $1 million. His boss, woof, $2 million. He says, "I wish for 100 square house. 100 square house. His boss, 200 square house." He goes, "What's your last wish?" He goes, "Geez, let me think about it." Goes for a walk along the beach, comes back with a plank of wood. He says, "I want you to beat me over the head half to death." Okay. So if the genie appeared right now, but said there's 4 conditions, right? You can't harm anyone, you can't bring back the dead, you can't, nothing to do with men and women, you can't wish for 1,000,000 wishes, it's only the one wish, and you can't wish anything about health and happiness because all you guys look fantastic, and gals. But if you could make one wish come true as of right now, what would that be for you? Yeah, what would that dream be? Be rich? Yeah? Need to define what that means. If you could make a wish come true right now, what would that be? What would that be for you?
Travel extensively.
Travel? Where would you travel to?
Antarctica.
Antarctica. You can experiment in my freezer if you wish. Antarctica, yeah, why not? It's there. Where else would you travel?
New York.
New York? New York. Where else? No, so travel's not for everyone. If you could make a dream come true starting as of tomorrow morning, what would your dream be? Success. Hey, I was talking with my business coach yesterday, and in fact, I was talking to him yesterday. I'll come back to yesterday, but a few weeks ago, I was up in Sydney, and we would spend 2 days together at his home. And then we went for a drive somewhere in his brand new Mustang that he spent like 80 grand on customizing. He's got success number plates. And while we were driving, he said, hey, why don't you buy the success number plates in Victoria? I said, good thought. So I went online and quickly bought them. So I put them on my wife's car. Success. Yeah? Success, what does that mean to you though? Oh, I was going to get back to yesterday. So I was getting some coaching yesterday, and yesterday happened to be Labor Day. Yeah, so we were talking, and so my catch up with him was at, what time was it, Dom? 1:15. 1:15. But prior to that, because it was Labor Day and people had holidays from their JOB, some people from Melbourne also caught up with him before I did. And we were talking about Labor Day and what people were on holidays. Think about this, Labor Day. They're happy they've got a day off to celebrate having a job. Because he hasn't worked now for the last 11 years, my wife and I, we haven't worked now for the last 15 years, and we just had half hour of laughing about it. That people actually are fired up having a day off work to celebrate that they're working actively. Why not celebrate free enterprise? Why not celebrate being an entrepreneur? Anyhow, what else? If my wife was giving out car keys tonight to your dream car, but there was only one car per key, and you can't duplicate the car, which car would you be taking? Maserati. Bentley. What? Bugatti Veyron. Ferrari! Man, that's amazing. You guys are just phenomenal. Why is it that when we talk about any car, and it's exotic, it's Maserati, Ferrari, it always ends in Ri. It doesn't say Holden or Ford. How does that work? Oh, we know what people really want, right? What else? If this was going into your account, there's 5,000 there. If this was going into your account every single month, what would you do with that? What would that do for you? Financial investing. We've got an investor in the audience. Investor. Yeah, what else?
Pay off loan.
What?
Loans.
You want to get a loan? Pay off a loan. Yeah, clear debt. What else?
Charity.
My brother's name is Bill. Yeah, what else?
Charity.
Never go to work. Yeah? You can't have freedom if you're married, you're always a boss. Yeah, what else?
Charity.
Charity? 12210226481. That's my bank account. It's a good charity to put some funds into. I don't need your money, I got plenty of it. Anyhow, what else? Ladies. Shopping! Who said that? My wife says, I want to go shopping, can you give me some money? I said, how much? She said, 2 centimetres. 50s or 100s. Ladies, shopping or buying? Man, I've been in shopping centres and I see some ladies, man. They go into the dress shop and they do this. They go. Buying. My wife's wardrobe. Hey, honey, you got nothing to wear. My wardrobe. What would you spend the $5,000 on if you had this coming in every single month? Well, I've got my back turned. Is someone sneaking up here? What would you do with it? What? Sorry? Speak English. Are you speaking English or what? What would you do?
Buy a home.
A home. Buy a home. Whereabouts?
Everywhere. Brighton Beach.
Where?
Brighton Beach.
Brighton Beach. Man, isn't it amazing? You know, where we live, there's a road there. The beach is The beach is here. All the houses on this side here of that road are 3 million plus. Where we live, it's 600,000 plus. Over here, there's another neighbourhood, and the houses there are 300,000 plus. You know, we go to open for inspection homes here, because when the time's right, we're going to buy something, pay cash, of course. And all these houses here, where the prices are $3 million plus, there's no TV, but there's shelves filled with books. Over here, there's no books, and there's big plasma TVs on the wall. What you get put into your head is what creates your destiny. So people are educating themselves either through the big screen plasma, where society is educating them. I remember talking to this guy in the US saying, man, he goes, so what do you spend your time? I said, I watch a lot of TV. He said, really? I said, yeah. He goes, uh-huh. So on which side of the glass is the idiot? Well, if they're on that side of the glass and they're actually making money, they're not sitting here getting red eyes and an empty head, well, I must be the idiot. He said, that's right. So why don't you utilize your time, get some good stuff into your head, and change the way that you live forever. And that's all we're going through tonight, is just an educational process to see if you get a fit within the team. What else? I'll tell you what else. My income was this small, and how can I get all of this into my income? Well, my wife says don't exaggerate, my income was this big. And you're laughing, there's yours. So how would you get all of this with that income? It doesn't work. So everyone just does what they're supposed to do. Have you ever thought about never having to go to work for money for the rest of your life? Have you ever thought about that? Who uses an alarm clock to wake up in the morning to go to work? Remember? How many times do you hit the snooze button? Who hits the snooze button 3 times? Who hits it 4 times? 5, 6. 6. Anyone hit the snooze button 7 times? 7, 8. Hang on. Anyone hit the snooze button 9 times? 9 times? 9 times. How many days a week do you work? What?
I don't work.
Eventually, if someone bangs their head against the wall long enough, the ears will pop. Who works and hits the snooze button 7 times? We're going backwards now. 7 times. You work. How many days a week?
All the days.
What?
All the days.
7 days a week. 7 days a week, you hit the snooze button 7 times, 749. You're waking up your body 49 times a week. That's unnatural. The body should only wake up 7 times a week. That's it. Can you imagine waking up in the morning going, oh, my wife says, hey, you got to get up and see the sunrise. I say, hey, videotape it, I'll watch it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Imagine getting up in the morning and going, this is how you wake up. Oh, another beautiful day of your life. Thank you, God. It's going to be great. Oh. And you fill your body to make sure there's no more sleep left in it, and then you get up. Different way to live, right? Different way to think. But how would you live tomorrow if you could do that? Not have to use an alarm clock for a job that he doesn't go to. Okay. Oh. So what people do is where was my income? Was that mine or was that yours? So what they do, they get themselves debt. They get themselves debt to actually buy this stuff. You know why? Because they care about what their next door neighbour's doing. Harry next door, he just bought himself a Porsche Cayenne. Right, let's get some more debt, let's buy a new car. Oh, my auntie and her cousin just bought a house in Brighton. Right, let's get some debt, man, and let's go move in Brighton. They borrow money they don't have to impress people they don't like with stuff they don't even need. That's what happens. Instead of doing that, Instead of doing that, we're going to take a different approach where we're going to build the income to match. Income to match, not debt to match. And live a life in total freedom, the way that you want to live it, whenever you want to live it. You can't live with whoever. Some people still have to work, right? I get up in the morning and say, hey, I want to call some people, but they've got jobs, and I can't go jet skiing with them, so I go alone. No big deal. Let's talk about what we do briefly. Let me just take care of one thing before we go further. I know that in the room of this many people, there'd be someone thinking, why is everything got to do with money? Why is he talking about money? Why is it money? Why? You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to stand up if you're thinking that. But let me just clarify something with you. That tomorrow morning, you're going to go work for it, and I'm not. So who's actually thinking about it? I haven't thought about money for the last 14 years. I just need to clarify that. So that your thinking is straight, that you're thinking about money and I'm not. Rich people don't think about money. You think that one rich person to the other rich person, they pull the curtain and have all the money piled up in the living room, say to the other guy, my pile's right there, bigger than your pile. Can't do that. Rich people don't think about money. It's like air. Do you think about air? Oh, I've got to breathe. No, you don't think about air. Rich people don't think about money. But if I put my hand over your nose and mouth, you'd think about air really quick. And that's what people think about money, because they're being suffocated, they don't have enough of it. Right? So, here's your household. I was going to be an architect and decided not to. In Australia and New Zealand right now, we're talking about Australia and New Zealand as one marketplace. We operate in over 109 countries. We have North America, South America, Europe, China, India. Some of you are smiling with India. Yeah. So there's many markets. I'm talking about Australia and New Zealand. So in Australia and New Zealand right now, there's 12 million households. There's 27 million people. When each of these people requires, let's do a survey. Who brushed their teeth today? Show me your teeth. Do this with your tongue. Do that. Does it feel furry or smooth? If you brush your teeth, where do you go to get your toothpaste? Where do you go for your toothpaste? It doesn't matter which brand. Then you go to the supermarket. Who washes their hair? What do you use to wash your hair? Is it shampoo, conditioner? Where do you buy that from? Supermarket. Who uses deodorant? Yeah, where do you get it from? Supermarket. What about shampoo, conditioner, soap? Who uses soap? Who's trendy like me uses body gel? Supermarket. Right? So everybody goes to the supermarket for their goods and services. When you go there, do you pay a wholesale price or do you pay a retail price? You pay retail. Do you normally pick it up or do they bring it to you? You pick it up. So you go there, you pay full retail, you pick it up, you take it back home, and that's what everyone's been doing for years. For doing this, because they love you so much and they care for you in your financial situation, how much money do they actually pay you? Nothing. They're never going to pay you, right? So it's a not paid situation. Over here, we have a website. And in every capital city, we also have a building. The building in Melbourne is in Box Hill. If you go there tomorrow, you'll see people pushing a trolley down by the shampoo, conditioner, soap, toothpaste, deodorant, etc., 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 vitamins, skincare. The only way you can access the store or the website is you need to have a 7-digit affiliate code. Without the affiliate code, you can't access the store. Over here, we have a support team and a system of education. Team One Global. Right? This system of education and this support team is what's taking you through the process right now. If you qualify, you'll eventually be part of the team working side by side with what we're doing. All we simply do is, using the support team and the system, we simply educate the household how to use this website. Instead of going to the supermarket, they get delivered to their doorstep instead of picking it up. And now for doing this, The household now has the opportunity to actually get paid cash on the 15th of each month directly into their account. Would you rather get paid or would you rather not get paid? Who's for not get paid? Everyone else, put your hands together, bow your head, let's watch the movie. So everyone in the room is to get paid, right? I'm not going to go through all the details because it's a process that you're going through. But if you were to use this website and you purchased $400 worth per month, you would get paid $12. Very, very simple. Who in the room would know what to do with that? Man, let me tell you about money. I was doing this presentation once in Bendigo, country town, and I had to go to the men's. And at the bottom of the urinal, there was a $1 coin. Guess what I did? What would you do? That's what I did. I threw in one of these and I took out $101. I was fired up. If you get paid $12, how would you feel? Well, let me ask you this. This is $2 less than 12. If that was on the street, would you do this? Is that what you would do? This is what you would do. That's what you do, isn't it? And if you say you wouldn't do that, guess what? You lie about other things as well, and you probably won't make it. So that's what everybody would do. So we do that. We don't do that. We do that. We get paid. $400 gives $12 a month income. We set up a team of around 75 households doing the same, and that gives you an income of $5,000 a month, plus a trip overseas all paid for. The trip this year in November is to, where are we going? Oh, Ritz-Carlton, Indonesia. It's the one and only hotel in Indonesia with its own private beach. Oh, it's a phenomenal place. It's going to be spectacular. Last year we were in, geez, the years go past so quickly, don't they? Where were we last year? We were in Penang, Eastern Oriental Hotel. Next year, 2019, is going to be spectacular. Spectacular. Who wants to know where it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you've got to clarify with Darshan, because it's only rumour that I've heard from him. He said that's going to be Europe. And then there's another guy, his name's Deepak, and he said it's going to be Dubai. I don't know which one. You've got to see them. I don't know. I'm just saying what I've heard. Right? But wherever it is, it's going to be phenomenal. If you had this coming in, $5,000 a month, what would that do for you? Would it help you change some things in your life? Right? If I gave you just that, what would you do with it? Some of you are thinking, how much is there? It doesn't matter, man. It's more than 100 and it's less than 10,000. What would you do? Sorry? Pay bills, yeah? What about if there was enough coming in that all the bills and all the accounts were taken care of, and you actually paid things 1 year in advance? Even your mobile phone account was paid 1 year in advance. You never have to think about it. Your electricity is paid 1 year in advance. When we set up our electricity this way, they said, no one does that. See, but we want to do that. What if you could do that? Zero debt. You live the life that you want to live. Would it be worth 5 to 10 hours a week of your time? More importantly, would it be worth getting yourself educated, getting the right mindset to get a spot on the team? Man, this team on Global, is moving really quickly. There is no promises. I'm not interested in your opinion. I'll end with this. It's a Zoom call. I'll end with this. We're about to wrap up. The time is 8:54. It's 8:54. Just think about this for 1 sec. Don't say it out loud. It's 8:54 p.m. and Who has a dream car? They have a car that they've always, it always gets their blood going. They get adrenaline just thinking or looking. Don't say what car it is, don't say it out. Think about this. You're actually in that car. You're driving that car. And now you're actually driving to your dream home. Don't say it out loud, but what does your dream home look like? You come into your driveway, you get out of your car, and you go up to the front door. Do you know what that handle looks like? Don't say it out loud, but what does that door handle look like when you go into your home, into the entrance foyer? You go into the entrance foyer, and through the kitchen window, what do you see? Don't say it out loud, but through the kitchen window, what do you see in your dream home? What can you see? And then you look over to the kitchen counter on the bench, and there's a ticket there to take you to your dream destination somewhere around the world. I don't know where that is, but you know where it is. It's going to take you there tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. You have to be at the airport. Do you know that dream destination? Do you know where you're going tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.? Don't say it out loud. Who's going to sleep tonight? Who's sleeping tonight? See, it's different, isn't it? Well, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, you're not going to be at the airport, or you have to be at work to do a stock take. Who's going to sleep tonight? Everyone's going to sleep like a baby because it doesn't get the blood going. It doesn't get the brain, the endorphins working. But going to your dream destination, coming from your dream home, having driven there in your dream car, totally different emotions, isn't it? Right? And hopefully I've added value. Hopefully you can get yourself a spot on the team. And with that, I'm going to give you back to our wonderful host for this evening, who remembered everything that I text messaged him, said it word for word off by heart. Very, very good memory. Over to Sushil.
Wow. What an awesome talk by Nick and Diana, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow, great. And thank you so much, Nick and Diana, for giving their time, valuable time to add value in our lives. And give another round of applause to them. I guess some of you are going through the qualification process right now, and I remember I was sitting in one of those chairs, and everything was looking exciting, and everything was good, right? And I had a question in my mind, and I was thinking, whether I can do it or not, right? And to give you a ray of hope, I would like to invite all the entrepreneurs whose annual business turnover is $250,000 and above on the stage. So please help me welcome all the leaders on the stage. Awesome. Can I request you to share your profession and name, please?
My name is Manish and I'm an IT contractor.
Hello, my name is Sundar. I'm engagement person. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Veronica. My husband not at the moment here because he has gone overseas to build the same opportunity. I am working as a childcare educator and mother of 5. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Megha and by profession I work as a retail pharmacist.
Good evening everyone, Deepak here, a master's degree in pharmacy, work with a manufacturing firm. Guys, Darshan here, work as a traffic engineer with one of the city councils here in Melbourne.
Hello everyone, my name is Priya. By profession I work in pharmacy. Hello everybody, Panalika here. My education background is English literature.
Wow. Another round of applause for all the leaders here. When I saw, so many people from different backgrounds, I got to believe, if they can do it, so can I. And I will, encourage all the first timers who are first time here to step up. If you can connect with any of the leaders or the speakers, Nick and Diana, and see how they can add value, more value to yourself. and we are going to have a. Okay. So we are going to have a short 10 minutes break, but before that, there's a big event happening in Melbourne on Saturday 19. Check with the person who has invited you here. See how you can qualify for that event. This event is going to be a life-changing event. And when I sit down in that event, man, blast, game on. And now we are going to have check with your person who invited you. See if you can get an access to that PBS, the conference basically. And now we are going to have a 10 minutes break. And for the first timers who are first time here, go back to your person who has invited you and see how you can qualify for the next step. And we have requested Nick and Diana, and they kindly agreed to give us a training on how to build this business basically for the only people who are only part of the business project. And for the rest of the people, have a safe trip back home and good night. Thank you.